I'm in Hollywood and AMGs, my tap by RGB, and my crib look like a B&B. I mean a CNC. IG model finna blow a bag, this dick on TNT. 40K I spent on Cuban links, I'm still on feed the team. I remember they was sleeping on my head, think a dream. All my bitches got a BB here, they thought they did they thing. All my hoes, they post me on they pages, all of them I claim. She gon' get her titty tatted up, she wanna join the gang. Niggas beefing over bitches, I don't even know they name. I just beat it, busted out the frame, I'm pulling out they braid. Used to pray about the life I live way back in 7th
Hey, Sam, can you help me with something?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how do I retweet the room again?
Oh, so it depends. I don't know what time of day it is, but the right-hand bottom bubble might be white, might be purple. You just hit
it's
that
white.
little button. When you
Okay.
go down there, there's it looks like a square, but with two little, like, I don't know, those alligator things. One's going up, one's going down. You hit that, and you can either hit retweet or quote tweet if you want to be real cool. And you can put a little message or let people know we're congregating for 9 o'clock in Noun Square.
Oh, that was easy. Sweet.
Yeah, it happens in a matter of seconds.
Amazing. But that doesn't enter me into a draw for 0.069 ETH, does it? It seems
I
too
mean,
easy.
I think maybe it does.
You ain't gotta spend no money cause they see it on your skin. They can see it in
Like,
your necklace, they
I
can
won't
see
tell
it in your
anyone that
lean.
you
When they
know,
watching on my
but
story,
everyone in your rooms,
I'm a Prado
you
walking
let
dog,
people know, hey, if they come in
I
and they
don't post my shit
retweet,
on Instagram, they
they
still
could
in
be entered into
the
the
I'm in
draw to win
Hollywood and AMGs, my tap by
0.069 ETH.
RGB, and my crib look like a
You heard it here first, folks.
CNC. IG model finna blow a bag, this dick on TNT. 40K I spent on Cuban links, I'm still on feed the team. I remember they was sleeping on my head, think a dream. All my bitches got a BB here, they thought they did they thing. All my hoes, they post me on they pages, all of them I claim. She gon' get her titty tatted up, she wanna join the gang.
Song request from none other than Ben Body. Crash Rari by RGB for our RGB noun.
Man, we have a pretty exciting week this week.
What's that?
So we have a pretty exciting week this week.
It's there's a few things going on, yeah.
There's a lot of the unseen, unsung heroes that like make this stuff possible.
Yeah, I love it. Just gonna take a couple more minutes to vibe here, listen to some Woody and Sound of Nouns Guy original theme song for 9 o'clock. Give people a chance to make their way into the room, guys. And then we're gonna have some fun.
GM.
GM.
Hey, buddy, what time is it?
Morning.
Hey, Zards, what time is it?
It's a beautiful day here at the beach. How are you?
Good. Hey, Tony, what time is it?
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
Why, Sam, I think.
What time is it? What time is it?
I can't be sure, but I think it's 9 o'clock.
Yes, 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
One more time.
It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
I like the juxtaposition of the air horn and the bike horn. Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to 9 o'clock live at the Noun Square. We do this every single day, and it's always fun, right?
Yes.
I think so.
All right, good. Today
there was only one time where it wasn't.
Yeah.
The dark time.
We don't talk about that day.
The 420.
Oh, right, yes. When we tried to mint a weed noun head and could not, and got
run.
run.
It was still kind of fun, kind of.
It was fun. We had Blue Xanadu on that day, you remember?
That was really fun.
It was fun.
And we've switched to 422 totally. We've just had a great time with the whole thing.
That's right. Today we are joined by Mr. Brian J. He is a Nouns resident. He is a builder. He is a big brain and he's going to talk to us about everything he's been working on and maybe a little bit about his ETH journey and his thoughts on the upcoming merge. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for checking last night to make sure that it was at 5:45 your time and not 3:45 your time, like I originally told you, because that would have been a very lonely spaces for you.
Yeah. Also helped with my sleep schedule a lot too, so I appreciate it.
We've had a couple, two guests in a row now from the West Coast, so we appreciate your commitment to the cause to come on so early. Because over here on the East Coast, it's getting a little bit cushy. Actually, it feels like it's not even that early. It's like 8:45. Had my coffee. It's not bad.
That's all good. I got my Nouns coffee. I am ready to go. Well, maybe like 15 minutes from now when it fully installs, I'll be ready to go. But
hopefully you don't get one of those last minute errors at the last second of the install. That's the worst.
Yeah, exactly. I got to go do the whole thing over again.
So what we're doing here at the Noun Square every single day at 9 o'clock is we fire up nounclock.app and we watch the end of the nouns auction. There's a new noun auctioned every single day forever. Today we've got a really handsome RGB Roy G. Biv noun. By the way, do you guys do Roy G. Biv in the States? I've said it a few times.
Yeah. We totally did.
Okay, because I said it a few times and nobody reacted, so I started to feel like it was crazy. Roy G. Biv is the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, violet. Roy G. Biv.
Yep, he's the guy who lives down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Woody's like,
Roy G. Biv?
Woody's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Sam, you're an anomaly.
I don't know what you guys.
You guys really never heard that?
Is it because I did art school?
Maybe. How do you
actually?
Guys learn
Yeah, I think so.
No, because I learned it in elementary. You fools.
Yeah, I learned that in elementary as well.
Oh,
I
so
didn't.
Maybe it's because
I've repressed elementary school.
It turns out Woody just wasn't paying attention, which actually
I usually just go to Home Depot and tell them the color that I want.
Yes, well,
I need Puce, Chartreuse, and Aqua.
That's right.
Oh
yeah.
my God!
Well, anyway, Roy G. Biv is the thing, I'm sure of it, and I will continue to call this noun the RGB Roy G. Biv noun until someone stops me. But it's a very, very handsome noun and getting some action. We got some bids for 63 ETH and 64 ETH, and then most recently for 65.93. The previous bid of 64.53 was Patricio from POAP, who has, 1,731 ETH left in that wallet. And 13 nouns, whereas his contender has 11.26 ETH left in his wallet. So I guess we'll see what happens.
And he's not worried.
I think we can take him.
If we all pull together, we could win this noun. So I digress. We're going to watch this auction for the next 7 minutes, chat a bit amongst ourselves, maybe ask a question or two of our guest Brian, and then we'll be rudely interrupted by the end of the auction and we'll go play FOMO Nouns. What is FOMO Nouns and where do we play that? Who wants to take a stab?
I like stabbing things.
That's what I figured.
That's in honor of Honk in the audience. So FOMO. It's that thing we get, and we're like, man, we need to get a sweet-looking noun. Like, there are, how many nouns, traits unminted right now?
One.
Is it just one?
Just one, yeah. Only one left.
So we're looking for 38. That one.
38, I think.
Yeah, 38. We got the RGB yesterday. It was 39. I know the maths.
It might even be 37, actually, now then.
Oh, sweet. So you go to fomonouns.wtf. Or you can go to V2. There may be a pinned tweet. But fomonouns.wtf. You go there, you'll see a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It's like a hot or not. You thumbs up, it means, yes, I want that noun. Thumbs down, it's like, no, throw it away. Nobody loves you.
For those that don't know what Hot or Not is, it's an app from the 90s that would break your soul if you put your
I feel like we just should start saying thumbs up, thumbs down, because Hot or Not was like you're a piece of meat. It was just like, hey,
wasn't
you're
Hot or
ugly.
Not?
I thought the only apps in the 90s came with like your entree.
But Hot or Not was actually the impetus for Facebook, I believe. So I think it
was.
Zuckerberg made like a Hot or Not for his college, and then it became Facebook. So without Hot or Not, you have no Facebook, and then probably the world's a better place. So never mind.
That's right. So you go to fomonouns.wtf, and if you're really into person, places, and things, you hit that thumbs up or that thumbs down to try to vote on the next noun that we want to mint. We just need to get 60% consensus, which does shift as people vote no. So we need your help to mint the next noun.
And if you look through our history of doing so, we're doing pretty well. We're voting up some pretty aesthetic nouns.
I'll tell you, for the RGB, I think only if we had a slightly different noggle, like maybe the disco noggles, like it would have been super perfect. But this is really good for an RGB because a lot of them have looked like trash, which is why we haven't minted any.
Yeah, I haven't liked the RGB head, but I love this one. So the shirt really ties it together.
Yeah, imagine
we've gotten pretty picky here over the last three months.
Yeah, totally. We're like, look at this rainbow shirt, RGB head. The noggles, not quite the RGB disco noggles. You know what? This could be better.
Yeah, Goldie was on with us the other day, and he was like, "You guys have gotten too fucking picky. You're too too picky." But to be fair, sometimes we get rugged by Ethereum as well. We try to mint multiple really nice ones, and Ethereum just doesn't cooperate because block sizes are not equal. So sometimes we'll try to mint one, like Sam just described, and all that does is clicks the settle button. The game clicks the settle button on the nouns auction, and if the block is too short or we're too late, it may not work. And so sometimes we get rugged that way and have to try again.
So they have to be at least 5'2", right?
That's right.
Hey,
you must be this tall to ride.
Somebody, are you there?
Hey Ben.
Am I here?
Hank,
yeah, Ben Bodie. I saw Johnny Marr the other night. Do you know who Johnny Marr is?
Johnny Marr? No, I don't think so.
He was one of the singers and the songwriter for the Smiths.
Oh, right.
I guess you didn't listen to the Smiths. It's okay. Not everybody.
No, I know the Smiths. I just don't know them well. Or Johnny Marr. I didn't realize that was their name. But you saw him live?
Toady is legitimately an illegitimate child of Morrissey's.
Ben's not English.
He's not. He's Australian.
Oh, well, they're owned by the Commonwealth, so they're
owned. Did you know you were owned by the Commonwealth, Ben? Here in Canada, there's a lot of talk right now about severing ties with the Crown after Queen Elizabeth's death. So
I didn't even know that Canada still had ties to any crown. I thought they were owned by the French.
Well, I tried to explain this to Aptoshi before about how you guys had a big revolution, and we just kind of did that thing where Homer goes backwards into the bushes. It was a little bit of a different tact. The crown's not really part of our life, but we just kind of snuck away. I guess is the best way to put it.
I feel like the contrast there is very emblematic of maybe Canadians versus Americans.
Why did Canadians never turn a moose into war machines like that? If you could mount a moose, I think that would give a lot of other things in North America. I think that would probably be the best war animal of the North Americas.
That's actually how we won the War of 1812, is atop mooses.
I don't want to hear you say being atop mooses and mounting mooses, and that's how you won the war.
Hey, we did what we had to do. All right.
Oh, Canada.
We've got 1 minute and 36 seconds left on this RGB Roy G. Biv. And looks like 11.26 left in the wallet. AC89 is currently maybe going to win this thing.
Wow,
another bid from Poap? No? I thought Poap wanted this one. He bid a little bit higher than he's bid in past days, so I thought maybe he thought it was nice and wanted it for himself, but maybe not. What do you think, Brian? What's going to happen here?
I think 1 minute and 6 seconds is still a very long time to put in a bid.
That's true. Although in our experience, if it doesn't get in with 30 seconds, it gets dicey for sure. So we're about to find out. So remember, guys, if you don't have it fired up in a browser window, either on your phone or on your computer, now's the time. fomonouns.wtf. And don't be shy about coming up on stage too. It's always fun. And we got a pending bid.
67.3 bid pending.
Yeah, from Mr. Will Price. So we got a 3-way auction now between Anon, Poap, and Will Price. So maybe this one's going to fetch.
What are you, a poker announcer?
Yes, that's kind of, there's a lot of corollaries for sure. So the good thing is we've got 4 minutes and 34 seconds renewed on the clock. So maybe we can chat a little bit with our guest.
I've got a question for Brian.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, what is a nouns resident and how do you become one?
Good question.
So I think the almost by design, nouns resident is sort of a very flexible title. So there's a handful of people who kind of have that, like, but me and CDT are examples sort of on the technical side, but I think sort of apply the term also to people like 22, for example. I think sort of the definition you can use is sort of just anyone who kind of works for the DAO in sort of a more full-time capacity. So like I think this is our primary commitment. Don't have like day jobs or anything like that anymore. And I think sort of as a function of that, like everyone's path is a little bit different. I think mine was very much sort of just a like increasing scope and complexity of projects over the course of 6 or so months until it was like, you know what, time to leave the day job and go full in on nouns.
So does this mean that you and CDT live together? Is it like a hype house situation?
Yes, no, exactly. Yeah, we're just in a hype house all the time.
But just the two of you, right? In separate bedrooms.
He has enough hype for everybody. I think I probably bring down the net hype of the house.
It's like a hype house, but it's just a bachelor apartment and one desk at either side, and you guys just code all day, right?
Pretty much, exactly.
Are you worried about my secret project, which is a combination of GPT-3 and GitHub Copilot, replacing you?
Not particularly.
You should be, because I'm a genius. And I make genius things.
That's true.
The first thing is to replace myself.
But I got a bit of an ace in the hole is that while I shill React code these days, I definitely did do a lot of ML back in the day, so I can beat you on the battlefield there, Honk.
No, because
you heard it here first.
Because my secret project doesn't use React and load a bunch of unnecessary libraries into the code. It uses raw JavaScript like a real man.
This is exactly the type of banter we thought we would have on our technical guest week at 9 o'clock live.
No, it's perfect. I feel like my new favorite hobby, honestly, has just been like trying to mess with Honk on Twitter. Or in the Discord, but particularly on Twitter. So I'm really glad that we have an audience.
This guy doesn't even follow good pull request conventions. You should look at his commits; they're terrible. It's like edit or like fix. Disgusting.
Man, I can't wait till we get the reviews and they're like, man, I started tuning in to the Noun Square and it was just like watching old WWE matches. It just started trash talking. Oh man, I loved it.
More likely, it's just going to be the Good Burger meme where the guy's like, yeah, I understand some of those words.
Yeah, I know some of those words.
Out came Hulk Hogan.
With the chair.
You better watch those. You better watch your butt.
Oh, hey, this is a family show. Please.
Hey, I always wash my butt.
Hey, Brian, can we turn it back even a little bit further? Pre-nouns. I'm curious to know what your history is before you ever found out about nouns. What's the villain origin story of Brian?
Wait, really quick. That's a good name. Ripe's project, they have that trash name. Pre-nouns. That someone share Ben, share that with Ripe. All right, back to the show.
All right, after that aside, Brian. So what's your history? What did you do before nouns? Was there a before nouns, or did you just come out of the womb coding for nouns?
No. Before nouns, I worked at like a larger like a Web 2 company out in California, mostly doing stuff related to like search and machine learning. Yeah. And then before that, studied computer science and applied math in school. So I'm probably the least likely person to become a front-end dev, but that's sort of the history there.
Amazing. And how did you come? I heard the applause, and for some reason I thought it was like the first note of the countdown. So I almost got jarred into countdown mode there. But we still have 1 minute 53 seconds left. So tell us your nounish journey then. How did you come into the nouns community from the get-go?
I mean, I think I was pretty crypto pilled for some time and stumbled upon the Proof podcast from 4156, and just I think hearing the way he spoke about the project, I was like, I got to meet this man. So I just hopped in the Discord and started hanging out, and sort of got connected with 4156 to kind of do a proof of concept project, sort of just some coding stuff. And over the course of 6+ months, that grew into kind of the role that I have today. Very much a frog in the pot kind of thing.
Very cool. And what is that role? What I know you mentioned a little bit earlier what in general residents do, but what do you do for Nouns?
Yeah, so primarily I work on nouns.wtf, the website, and sort of just lots of new features there. And to a lesser extent, I do little side things for various projects as well, but my primary responsibility is nouns.wtf.
Awesome. You keep the site running smooth.
New features, all that good stuff.
Awesome.
What
Eddie,
are some upcoming features that you're excited about for nouns.wtf?
Took the words out of my mouth, Honk.
So the biggest one that I got in the pipeline is a lot of new stuff around, again, sort of like better governance visualization. So like I got this sort of delegate information page coming out, sort of a different flavor of some of the stuff the Agora team has also done. Sort of new info like on tracking the treasury stuff, things like that. I think are kind of the big thing. I think like for me, the thing that I think that I've gotten feedback from people is sort of the most impactful is like how do we just take as much of the information around governance stuff and just make it as easily consumable as possible within the site. So that's sort of what I have been directing my time towards mostly.
Got it. And so you mentioned, whenever you talk about delegate information, that obviously reminded me of the Agora team is doing. And you mentioned them as well. Are you going to be integrating any of their stuff directly into the site? Or are they also a separate project and y'all are kind of working on similar paths? Or what's the deal there?
I mean, I think for the moment, so preface with we're definitely in contact. Like we've talked even before they submitted their proposal. I think for the moment there's no plans to directly integrate, but it's not to say that's not necessarily something we would consider, or not to say that's something we would not consider potentially.
Very cool. I like to hear that because sometimes you might think if there's all these alternate front ends coming out, maybe nouns.wtf just becomes stagnant and stays the same, but it's important that it continues to add features and whatnot. For the whole purpose of having alternate front ends is that they're all, sort of equal in different ways, so that there's not a single point of failure, right? Or that the single point of failure doesn't just move over to another better site.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think also for me, it's there's such diversity in sort of the people within the Nouns community. As a result, there's a huge amount of diversity in the needs of people, and trust me, with the number of DMs I get for feature requests, if I implemented everything everybody wanted, the site would be unusable just as a function of having a bazillion features.
Can we just do that for a week where you add every single feature that people ask and just...
Oh God, you would hate me. You would
show
hate
what
me.
a
Not that good of a coder.
We just need to stick that one in a subdomain, like community dev nouns, something like that, and just see how insane it gets, just for the fun of it.
It's like what you think you want .nouns.wtf.
Yeah, exactly. Take it easy on the requests, people. This is what you get.
Yeah, it'll be like an April Fool's thing. But yeah, so as a function of that, I'm really glad that now we have this notion of these sort of alternate clients, because it provides a way to let everyone take the tack that they want, let 1,000 flowers bloom, and then we can also then sort of take what seems to really be take what's really working and take these new ideas and then integrate them into nouns.wtf to the extent it makes sense. So it's a really virtuous cycle as I see it.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about one of your other projects, which is called Address Form. And then this is a 3-part question, but we'll start with the first one. What's Address Form? What's it used for? So
Address Form is sort of, and also sort of the related project Address Board, which is also, again, related to the Nounish Discourse Killer. I think as you probably were setting up, all kind of very much
now it's a 1-part question, so
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's sort of my little side thing. So Address Form is basically Web3 Google Forms. So it's just like a form, but you sign the message and submit it with your wallet. So it's this handy little tool. It's used throughout the Nouniverse. Noun Center, Little Noun Center, Noun Soul, Prop House, in limited capacity are all using this little tool.
That's our 30-second timer, so
Ooh.
we'll have to take a pause and hear about parts 2 and 3 right after fomonouns, unless we get another last-minute bid. But it
I don't
looks like
see anything coming in yet.
this RGB is going to go for 70.7 ETH to Mr. Will Price. It'll be his 20th noun. If this goes through, make sure you guys have fomonouns.wtf up. If you're
No
on
one
the page,
man should have all that now.
all right,
All right, guys, fomonouns.
Summertime.
Ooh, business bubble. I like
That's
that.
an awesome one with the teal noggles and the purple.
I actually really
Purple
like this one, yeah.
Yeah, I love the purple and the teal. Nice contrasting colors with the black and
Is
white.
Toshi sleeping? She asked me to set up a Twitter bot for her so that way she could join these things while she slept.
No, she's
Ooh, the
doing
Naptoshi
some
bot.
work for Nouns on the Ground right now.
Yeah.
I think Robot Fish Girl got her saucy again last night, and now she's
No, other way round.
Uh-huh.
I hear
Well, somehow
King
you
Charles
keep
really
showing
likes
up and she
pie.
keeps napping, so I don't know who's getting who sauced.
No, she was getting on a plane last night, so.
Oh, she's leaving already. Oh, wow.
She's leaving, and I'm going.
That was a quick whirlwind trip to New York then.
Yeah.
New York's a gutter.
Literally went.
Oh, another pie. All right, we had
I
two
like
pies
this pie.
back to back.
Oh, this
such a
brain.
nice brain. Come on.
That's
This
a pretty
brain
nice
is so
brain.
good.
We haven't minted one before, so.
It's good.
It's so good.
Tempting to settle,
I
but I
get
don't
it.
think there's enough block time, to be honest.
All you have to do is re-roll your page and hit the thumbs up again.
I don't know if that helps.
I think it does.
It might
What
help
happened?
you.
Yeah,
Hey, it did work.
Hey, we got
we
it.
got it.
Oh, today's
Being
fun one was
minted
going to be easy.
I didn't get my
Amazing. It's a good one.
Well,
But I
kind of
love
nice that we get a big brain for our technical guests week. I think it's
Exactly.
very suitable. And you know what? That was not minted yet, so we're doing well. I think that's 3 in a row, not unminted heads this week, isn't it?
That's right.
I believe so.
We're
Trying to get them all out before the merge.
That's right. Yeah. Can we increase the auction cadence for the next couple of days so we can get all the unminted heads done somehow?
Well, there was a robot head for Noun 440 for the Nounders, but if we don't include that one, then yeah, we got the brain, RGB, and the 2 chains.
That's right. And what was the one before? It might even be 4 in a row. We've been just killing
crab head.
Okay, yeah.
We had the crab.
Yeah, already had crab.
Are you guys okay if Rocco comes on here at some point? We're doing our first podcast with CDT.
Yeah.
And we're working on getting him to be able to respond live.
Yeah, we were actually going to invite Rocco and you and Shep on the show this week, but we didn't want to scoop what CDT's got going on. So we'll definitely bring you guys on maybe in a week or so, or once the podcast is out.
Nice. Toshi, if you can hear me, we know that you're asleep and you're just running my bot script.
Naptoshi becomes botified. Love it. All right, Brian, what do you think about this noun? Nice noun?
Yeah, I think it's a good looking noun. I gotta be honest. I think I liked the other one better. I think the RGB noun was quite a noun, but it's a solid noun.
Yeah. I mean, we got to mint the brain sometime. It might as well be when it has an aesthetic matching shirt, right?
Exactly.
The only thing that would have made this better is the grass noggles would have been perfect, but
yeah, that would
match the shirt 100%. But you can't have everything in life, you know?
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
Oh, sorry. I guess you can have everything in life.
My people can at least.
You only can if you come at life with a knife, I guess.
That's right.
You have to come at it with a knife in one hand and a mezuzah in the other.
Yeah, exactly. While riding a moose, probably.
Yes, exactly. So you were telling us about address form. You were telling us about how that got fleshed into address board. So maybe we'll pick up where we left off, and you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, so address form is basically, web through Google Forms. You fill out a form, sign the response with your wallet. Boom, done. No need for any sort of other identity verification other than your on-chain identity.
It's nice to not have to do a Google sign-in for forms, for sure.
Yeah, as somebody, I think it may have been you who called it Google Docs DOCX or Docs DOXX.
That's a Toady original.
Yeah, as I've now totally stolen that, but Yeah, so then sort of looking at the use cases that people are using that for, I kind of have made this new thing called address board, which is taking that idea and sort of turning it into kind of this forum software a la Discourse, sort of Discourse with almost like a bit of a Reddit kind of sprinkled in. If you're curious to check out one version of it, you can look at the pinned tweet on my profile.
Which is about to be the pinned tweet on this space. Give me 1 minute, and it is there.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so that sort of talking with both some folks at Lil Nouns for a project that sort of they're working on for their Little Grants Fund, as well as sort of the governance mandates round. Sort of this project, this thing came into being pretty recently, and yeah, they're just sort of really excited about this new tool to allow people to interact and discuss things using their on-chain identity. And now even better, it's just one sign in and or one wallet sign, and you're good to go.
So you've called this project, which you, by the way, won a mandates round from Prop House to build, Discourse Killer.
Yes.
What did Discourse ever do to you?
It just honestly was a pretty good branding. Pretty good. It was a branding play.
No, but in all seriousness, though, what's the problem with Discourse that your development will fix?
Yeah, so I kind of see there's two main problems with Discourse. The primary problem is there's a lack of a really native way to bring in on-chain identity and on-chain data into the conversation, which has resulted in, for example, a prop goes onto Discourse, gets great response from people, but maybe they're not the right people, i.e. people who have voting power in the DAO. The prop goes on chain and it gets voted down super aggressively. And we've seen multiple examples of this. Mm-hmm. And that's just a failure for everybody. It's a failure. The DAO looks bad. The proposer, is probably upset, feels a little rugged. Just it's sort of a failure case all around. And I argue it's a tooling failure. If you had a way to say, okay, well, Toady has, whatever it is, like, 10 votes or something, probably should listen to him more than just some random account, and that can help you get a much better sense of the feeling of the DAO. We couple that with sort of this idea of you can upvote and downvote, proposed ideas using your nounish token weight to get an even more granular signal of how does the DAO actually feel about this. So number one is integrating that on-chain data into the conversation so that it's not just people talking, but that you're getting the right people talking and sort of getting feedback on your idea, how the DAO actually feels about it. So that's number one. And then number two is this idea of like really advanced search features and then bringing that into where you are. So if sort of part one is making sure that, the right proposals are, getting on chain, I think the second part is making sure that those proposals are then getting in front of the right people before they go on chain to, either due diligence on them or to maybe, help sponsor them or, who people are just excited about them. My background, as I said, is in search. So how do we, look at the proposals and, look at, what people have told us that they're interested in, and then sort of use that to make sure that those proposals get in front of the right people. So to do that, we're building out this Discord bot that will, just message you with the handful of proposals that you might be interested in based on what you've told us about your preferences. So that's kind of the two main things as I see it. It's, we're better than Discourse because we bring in that on-chain information, number one. And number two, we bring the proposals that you might be interested in to you where you already are, which is Discord.
That's Brian, really cool. Where is all this information being stored?
So, like all the, which information in particular? Just like all the posts and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's stored in our database, though one of the things we're working on is backing all this data up to a public store like IPFS or Arweave. So in particular, what we do is we index a whole bunch of data from like Discourse. So we have sort of this like active mirror of Discourse, so you can sort of take the conversation as it stands right now and jump into this new world of on-chain identity and all this, fun features. So that lives in our database, where we also have indexed all the on-chain props. We're looking at indexing a lot of the prop house stuff, et cetera, bringing all that data into one place where it can be discussed with the additional context of on-chain information, which, yes, currently living in a database, but will be backed up to a public store.
So you're creating a Rocco smorgasbord, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely a lot of things that you could do if you kind of take some of the like GPT-3 text summarization stuff, sort of in addition with some of the matching work and that we're doing.
That's interesting. In the interim, how do you get people to start using what you're building, the Discourse Killer, and stop using Discourse?
Yeah, so we have a whole strategy around that. So I think like the first prong of that is, right now there's just a lot of disparate sources of information already. So like the first value add is just putting that all in one place where it's all accessible, searchable, and useful. So that's sort of the first layer of the cake. I would say number 2 is this sort of idea of, okay, well, now we're also going to have recommendations over that where, okay, it's not just the data's all in one place, but now we're also telling you, hey, this is the stuff you're interested in, and we're bringing you into the platform via those recommendations. That's the second layer of the cake. And then the final layer of the cake is we're looking at doing sort of interesting things in terms of, we have your, because you're signing in with your wallet, we kind of know at least a wallet associated with you that is associated with you. Can we do something interesting with that, be it POAPs, NFTs, contests, whatever it is? There's sort of an interesting mechanic around that as well. So that's sort of the 3 layers of the cake as I see it.
Interesting.
I think Brian's been listening to the show because he keeps using cake analogies, and everybody knows I like cake.
That's great. And he hasn't mentioned a book once. So Sam, I think he's.
Well, I think he alluded to it because we've seen the discourse. Nobody likes.
Yeah.
No one likes
using Discourse is kind of like trying to send an email with stamps.com or something.
That's right. And if it fits, it ships. So remember, for all your shipping needs, go to stamps.com.
By the way, we're trying to brute force ourselves into a stamps.com sponsorship here, Brian.
Oh, I got it. Oh yeah, I love stamps.
By the way, I see we have CDT on stage, so maybe he can confirm whether he is indeed in a bachelor apartment in Tribeca with Brian.
I have a family.
Oh.
I definitely don't live with Brian.
Well, this is disappointing.
But
Brian,
to say the least.
But we talk about every day, so we might as well,
Yeah.
We're connected in every other way.
Exactly.
Can you at least get some kind of a metaverse situation going where you work in the same room in a metaverse?
No.
You guys should move on to Blue Xanadu spaceship.
That's right.
DDT, how excited are you to keep this podcast with Rocco rocking and rolling?
I was loving it. I was bummed we had to pause yesterday because of time, but I thought we were in a good flow.
Do you think that Rocco had some pretty good responses about the worldly answers and like Rocco's favorite joke?
Oh, the first the first pod? Yeah. I'm excited about that one. I think it was I think it had some character, which is what makes it interesting.
Without giving too much away, what's the voice? Is it like a built-in voice for that AI, or did you have to add one? Or
I'll let Honk take that.
Yeah, you can go jump in a ditch with that question. I'm not giving anything away. I'm not going to ruin CDT's sauce. but Rocco's voice will evolve over time. That's a fact. And it's going to evolve based upon the voices of other nouners. So
why do I feel like it's just going to be Honk's voice at this point?
I hate my voice, so that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I also hate all of you, so that's kind of my demo.
Actually, you're always commenting about Noun22's voice, so I bet you used his.
No. No.
That sounds like something Honk would say if the answer.
For what it's worth, Honk, we all hate you too.
I'm done with self-help. I'm starting to do others harm now.
Well, also,
is that a section?
We're talking about this stuff all the time on Tuesdays with Alex in the Nouns Discord. So if people want to talk about Rocco,
Joshua, watch out! That truck's backing up right into you.
That's not me.
Sorry, I'm at a coffee shop.
Oh, I thought it was Josh.
Is this a back alley coffee shop?
Yeah, it's like he's on a patio.
There's a small, yeah. Well, it's actually by a train track, so you're lucky that didn't go by.
Well, yet there's still time.
No, for sure.
I find the sound comforting.
So part of what we're doing here this week with our technical guests, which has been pretty fun, is just trying to highlight builders who have that technical set, devs and people who are doing stuff on the back end, as Sam mentioned, sometimes don't always get the recognition they deserve. And the reason we're doing that is because, of course, it is the week of the Ethereum merge. So I'd love to ask you, Brian, just generally about your Ethereum journey. How did you come in to start working in the Ethereum space? And then, as a secondary question, what are your thoughts on the upcoming merge?
So I think, to the first question, I think I had been crypto curious for a while, but sort of took the initial plunge kind of during the 2020 DeFi thing.
Yeah.
Sort of got into that. Sort of given my sort of more my math background, it was kind of like catnip to some extent. But then I think where I kind of really got even, triple down on the whole ETH world, I think it's sort of when I kind of really understood, probably more in the vintage of the NFT craze, around how tokens sort of are this really interesting new primitive for organizing people and organizing networks, which is sort of something I'm really interested in. So that was sort of how I just got completely crypto pilled over the course of, an incremental crypto pilling over kind of a, couple, year and a half period or something like that.
What was your first NFT?
My first NFT? Oh, man. I don't remember my first NFT. I do remember I had very viscerally some gas war for some NFT I got into, and I remember it was my first NFT, and I lost some non-trivial amount of gas and feeling pretty pissed off at the time. But
was that the Sevens? I remember there was an NFT project called the Sevens, I think it was called, back in the height of the bull market, and the gas wars were so crazy. People were paying $2,000 to mint, and that project I don't think is still around.
I don't even remember what the NFT was. I remember the displeasure resulting not even getting my NFT after I did this mint. But yeah. And the second question was how do I feel about the merge?
Yeah.
I think, frankly, I am decidedly mixed.
Interesting.
I think that, obviously not just incinerating energy for the sake of, securing a network is probably net a good thing, for the environment and all that. Plus there's sort of the cynical side, as you can argue, that once the conceit of, ETH is horrible for the environment goes away, maybe that results in additional buy pressure, which is always good.
Shots fired.
Yeah. I think what gives me some pause is, the degree to which it potentially leads to additional centralization. Of course, a natural rebuttal to that is, how truly decentralized is proof of work. But that's sort of how I
expand on that a little bit. So what is your worry about centralization with regards to switching from miners to validators?
Yeah. So preface with, I'm definitely not the person who maybe has the most, isn't sort of the biggest expert on this. So caveat there. I think from my understanding, if you look at the people who are staking the most, it's people it's your Coinbases, your Lidos, etc., who are sort of a pretty non-trivial fraction of all the staked ETH, all of whom are, to varying degrees, VC-backed companies with big, real world government interaction responsibilities, and that there's sort of the downside risk there, or maybe even the tail risk is as a function of increasing centralization, it results in people censoring transactions or something, which then makes people upset about ETH and hurts the ecosystem. Right. That's my 11 p.m. worry.
Fair enough.
It's built as a joint venture with JP Morgan. So if you're worried about
it being something that the government is involved with. I mean, they did the initial audit of it back in 2014, 2015.
The initial
That's
audit what? Sorry,
old head knowledge for you.
sorry. So
Sorry,
the
what was
initial
that,
audit
Honk?
of
I
what,
didn't
Honk?
quite hear that.
You sound like you're talking from inside a bathtub, Honk. Can you repeat that?
I live a life of luxury. ETH was audited and worked on very early on by JP Morgan. And so if you're worried about centralization, it exists in a big part already. I think proof of stake will more or less just seal it. And I highly encourage you to look up staking derivatives and look more into LiDAO because it's going to be a permissioned chain and based upon the DAO, the LiDAO DAO. And a number of firms have stated this outright, like Paradigm. You can go look them up. They've been like, yeah, this is going to be the whole like validation pool stuff is going to be basically run by LiDAO. And we've thrown our hat in the ring and we're putting, our money on LiDAO. I think they own 10% of LiDAO tokens. LiDAO's the DAO that controls what validators are able to validate ETH 2.0.
So what does this mean to the future of Ethereum and what can be done about it, if anything? Or is it
it means meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Interesting take. I think one thing that's interesting, Brian, is that when I asked you about the merge, you talked more about the actual, the spirit of the merge. In other words, the switch from proof of work to proof of stake. What about the actual merge, the actual physical changeover? Any nervousness about that? Any thoughts about that? Should be happening on Thursday morning, according to current projections.
I'm sure there are people who are more qualified to be nervous or not about that. My hope is that seeing how as the Ethereum devs took their gosh darn sweet time doing this, I really hope that they know what they're doing. I mean, I'm sure if you have hundreds of billions of dollars on the line, you're probably pretty damn sure. So, but not an expert.
Awesome. Well, we'll all be watching on Thursday to see what happens. Anyone want to help us out here with a Twitter picker? If you haven't done it yet, you should retweet the room. We'll give you one more minute to do it. And can someone please pull a winner for us in about a minute for that Twitter picker? And then we should also probably do a POAP. I don't think we've got Ryan with us here. Ben, do you mind doing the POAP?
Yeah, I'll go sort out the POAP. I was going to do the retweet picker and then realized I should probably do the POAP. So I'll do that.
Sounds good. Who do we have lined up for tomorrow as a guest? Sam? Sam, are you there? Well, I'll tell you. It's Elad and David Bry from Verbs. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
It's the Verb team.
It is the Verb team. And what do they do at Nouns, Brian? And maybe you can give some context on that.
So they're in the tech pod, which means that they're working on sort of updating all the DAO's smart contracts and adding additional functionality on that end of things.
Yeah, very cool. And they're working on a few things like dynamic quorum. Can you explain briefly what dynamic quorum is for our listeners if they don't know?
So basically what dynamic quorum is it's increasing the amount of yes votes that a vote requires to pass as a function of the number of no votes that it has. So basically, more contentious proposals will require a higher number of votes to pass. And this is sort of a step in the direction of, making the DAO more robust against 51% tax so that we can hopefully one day get rid of the noun veto. It's not a full solution, but it is a step in that direction.
Amazing. And we're going to definitely ask Elad and David more about that tomorrow. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow. I guess it'll be around 9 a.m. EST to dig in with them. And I wanted to say thank you to you, Brian, for coming on with us today and telling us a little bit about what you're working on. What are you most excited about with your current project and over the next couple months of working on this?
I think, very excited about a lot of things, both between nouns.wtf and address board. But I think specifically, it sounds like maybe we're asking about the address board side. I think really excited to hopefully just sort of get more people conversing on there and ideally provide value to the DAO. That's really the hope at the end of the day, is build something useful. And
how can people try it out?
Just go to the link. It's live. I mean, we've only really done the first half of sort of that two-pronged thing. The identity side is there, and we're working very hard on the search side. And obviously, it's still a beta, but it's fully functional. So please try it out. Hit me up with feedback. Very excited to hear what people think and how it can be improved.
Yeah, and in a year, once this has replaced Discourse, you can be like, "Hey, I was on that when it was in a public beta."
Exactly.
It'll be your bragging rights, and
And
it'll all be
who
on
knows?
chain.
Maybe there'll almost surely be a POAP drop for the early people. Or something to that effect. So
we like the POAPs. Speaking of which, Ben, you got a POAP for our listeners today?
I sure do. If you don't already have the POAP app, go to poap.xyz and download that app so you're prepared for these POAPs that we give away every single episode. And then once you've got that app, you just open it up and hit the mint button and then hit the secret word button. And then today's word is resident engineer. And if someone's got the sound, I'll repeat it again nice and slow.
I can grab the sound.
Resident engineer. That's spelled RESIDENT all one word.
Worked for me. What's the current situation with the POAPs too, Ben? Can you tell us who's doing what right now and what people will see in their wallets?
So there was one for what was I think it could have been like 433. Let me just go back and have a look. So yeah, 433, Noun 433. That one is World of Noun still, and he's working on that one today. So that one from last week is going to be updated.
Nice.
And that will be the final one in the World of Noun series. And then we've got Coupe Rod, who just finished up, I believe, but I don't know if they're all up. I think there's one more piece of art to be uploaded. Oh no,
this is so cool. It's kind of like, you remember, I'm going to date myself here, but remember collecting pogs? Did you guys have pogs in Australia?
Yeah, we did, and Tarzo's very similar stuff.
Yeah, just looking through my collection here, it feels like I'm looking at my collection of pogs from the 90s.
Exactly, that's right. And we don't have to carry around the tube to hold them anymore, or big folders full of them. We've just got a nice little digital phone app. Thanks, Patricia.
Yeah, and the art is just crazy that we're getting here. Like Coupe Rod, I had never heard of him before, and we found out about his art from one of our art contests, and Nodes reached out to him, I believe, or was it you, Ben? Someone reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to do some POAPs, and he said sure, and he just knocked it out of the park over the past week with these cool caricatures in his own style of the noun of the day. So if you haven't been grabbing them, got to grab them.
Yeah, he actually just shared a thread of all the artwork. So yeah, I think today's was his last, or yesterday's. The one for the noun to noun will be the last. So there's some artwork that from yesterday's show that will get uploaded with two more nouns. So there's two more pieces of his art that will show up, and he shared a thread, so you can get a sneak peek of what the artwork will look like when it does show up. And then this week, for this episode onward, let me check the art calendar. Who have we got on? Because it's pretty exciting when we get a changeover and start to see new artwork. We have an empty calendar. Not really. I just don't know why my calendar's not loading. Okay, we've got Psych Dre. Psych Dre starts today.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it looks like, I'm guessing we're going to see some more 3D stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, Psych Dre has a collection called Walking Nouns, if you haven't seen them before. Really cool. He does like these animations of the noun of the day walking along. So I'm sure we'll see some variation of that in the POAP probably for this week.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mr. Sam Ellis, I understand you have a winner for us for the daily retweet picker.
Yes, we do.
All right.
At Elena Dig. Elena Dig, if you could wave in the audience. I think down at the bottom there, it's PFP's got kind of like a, I don't know, Fear and Loathing Las Vegas ape of sorts.
That's a very good description. It made me find it immediately.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and send you a DM.
Already done.
Fantastic.
Already done. Congratulations. And that's all we got for you today. We've got the Twitter picker. We've got the POAP. We had an amazing guest. We did FOMO, very quick FOMO, but we did FOMO nonetheless. That's right. Got some exciting stuff coming tomorrow. Not only our guests, which will be really interesting to listen to, but we'll also have an announcement of a new contest coming tomorrow. Our team is putting the finishing touches on that. And we've also just pulled in the 80 plus entries to our previous contest, which was to do an art piece of unminted noun heads, and there are so many good ones. Pulling them all in, and we'll be voting on them over the course of the day today, and hopefully we'll find consensus so we can give you an answer on who won that contest tomorrow.
Woohoo! There's some cool ones for sure.
Absolutely. What's a good song to play us out that's about a brain? It could be dangerous territory. Just search for that on YouTube.
But we could use like thinking or mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't see. I was trying to bring up Nouns News because I wanted to hear what was going on in the Nouniverse this week, but I can't seem to bring them up. I don't know if you're there, Leo, or if that's Robot down there. But
that's me.
Well, Robot, maybe you can give us a quick summary. Put you on the spot. Tell us what's going on Nouns News this week. No?
Nothing good.
You're being rugged a little bit, but try again.
Oh, there we go. Is my Twitter working now?
You are on.
There we go. So mostly what we've been covering this week, we've actually been working on covering the recent Prop House rounds.
Okay.
And just covering all of the props that have been put up or have won, and trying to gather as many videos as we can from winners, as well as going over the more in depth on the cleanup contest that was done here, and covering various efforts there and how people are continuing, like how I know Davin is just one to do a little bit more in that area.
Very cool. You made that video for us as well of all the different cleanup entries, which was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice to see everybody doing that all over the world. So we'll probably do another contest similar to that in the future for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here for 9 o'clock live. Always a pleasure. We'll be back here tomorrow, of course. What do we got going on Soapbox today? So, Ben, it's Tuesday today.
That's a good question. I just closed the calendar, so I have no idea again, because
we got the Shark DAO coming up today.
At 12:30.
Tuesday, Shark DAO.
And
Shark DAO at 12:30. What's going on for that, Josh?
Well, we got some of the community members coming. We're going to talk about the Nouns comic and Nouns creator contest that we're working on, so it'll be pretty fun.
Amazing. 12:30 EST, so basically in 2.5 hours after we're done the spaces here. You'll only have to go 2.5 hours before you get your next the Noun Square fix. Don't worry.
And then you've got 6.5 hours. Whew.
That's right.
And then we have Tiny Dinos.
Yes, Ryan Mack isn't here to tell you, but Tiny Dinos, which has been a spaces that's been going on for the better part of the year on Tuesdays. They have Tiny Tuesdays. They are moving officially over to the Soapbox. So this is our first instance of a really established space moving over to the Soapbox. Pretty excited about it. Of course, Tiny Dinos has some nounish dinos in the collection, and they're CC0 and very nounish in their philosophies as well. So we're super happy to welcome them over to the Soapbox, and hopefully we'll have some good cross-pollination between the Dinos community and the Nouns community with that at 8 p.m. EST tonight. And that is our Tuesday schedule for Soapbox. I've got a song to play us out here. Brian, just wanted to say thank you so much again for coming on so early to chat with us, and we look forward to having you on again anytime you'd like.
Of course, thank you. I mean, I'm trying to set a record this week. I think I've already been on twice, so I don't know if there's a number per week. I'm gonna go for
it. Just keep coming. We do it every day.
You're on a junket, eh? A press junket.
I like today's noun is just Brian misspelled.
All right, everybody. Have a great Tuesday.
decided to strike back. Flash every tire on the bike rack. My first day in junior high. This kid said, you and I.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Some old school Eminem.
I already gave you my lunch money. What more do you want from me? Don't try to run from me. You just make it worse. My palms were sweaty and I started to shake it first. Something told me try to shake a stomach ache. Oh my God! Teacher, quick, I need a naked nurse. What's the matter? I don't know, my leg it hurts.
Hey, Fly High, welcome to the stage, just in time.
Nah, that bully wants to beat your ass and I'm a let it. Ever since the day I was born. I love it.
He said it. He said brain.
Hi. Sorry, I got just some problems with my microphone.
That's okay. Better late than never. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to say hi.
Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for always tuning in, guys. We always have fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey guys, thanks for the good show.